It's been so long since last I seen my son, lost to this monster, to the man behind the slaughter. And you know how the rest of that goes. Five Nights at Freddy's the movie. My God, this has been 9 years in the making, 8 years I think. But it's finally here. Rather, it'll be here in October. We have a trailer to react to right now. The trailer is out. The poster dropped last night, right as I was going to bed. And then the teaser trailer not long afterwards. And it's funny because during the day I was thinking to myself, I wonder when we'll get a poster or a trailer for the Fnaf movie, probably in July or something. It turns out to be May. Funny enough, this movie is coming out the same day as Saw 10. So I will more than likely be watching Saw first, but I could also watch both of them on the same day if I really wanted to. So there's a few ways I could go around that. But yeah, God, it has been a long journey to this point. This is only less than a minute long. So most of this video will probably be a reaction analysis afterwards. But yeah, God, like this was announced under Warner Brothers in 2015, I think. And then loads of rewrites. They lost the rights to make the film. They still had some rights over one script in particular. And if any of you have seen the movie Wally's Wonderland with Nicolas Cage, if that felt a lot like Five Nights at Freddy's, that's because it literally is. It was based off of scripts they still had the rights to. They just swapped out the Freddy's characters for their own characters. Then it went to blumhouse, and we had 3 or 4 directors coming and going over the years. About a year or two ago, we found out from Scott Cawthon what some of the older scripts were. They all sound horrible. At one point, there was going to be like government animatronic military robots or something. It sounded like a mess. So, I don't know. Scott seems really proud of this final script. It's supposedly really faithful. I don't know what to expect. Just like the game, it's easy to say I want it just like the games, but the games don't have much going for them. So, God, I really don't know. There was that supposed Mike script that they were working on before. Scott Cawthon said he was really a big fan of that, but then shortly afterwards, he announced that that script was scrapped and they were doing another one. So I have no clue what's going on. I'll watch this and we'll find out. So here we go. FNAF movie teaser. I can't believe it. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where fantasy and fun come to life. Hit it, guys. If you're watching this video, it means you've been selected as Freddy's newest security guard.
Okay. Oh, it's just like the VHS games.
We're going to have so much fun together.
This is more like Saw, what the fuck? Oh, William Afton. Oh, the ball pit. Was that, I couldn't tell. Is that Freddy or is that Golden Freddy? I can't exactly tell. I think it's Freddy. He just looks gold because of the lighting. I think so. Yeah, because if it was Golden Freddy, everyone would be going mental over it. Looks good. It looks like Five Nights at Freddy's, as funny as that might sound. It's definitely very faithful. As I said, I mentioned the FNAF VHS and all those fan things. Like, they really lead into that kind of aspect of it. They leaned into sort of, with the tapes and the glitching tapes, and it's all nice and kind, and then there's like a sinister undertone. It very much lends like that. We got a glimpse of William Afton in there. It looks interesting. I had said before that this would be a smaller movie, that it would be made in a reasonably small budget, and I predicted it would come out this year, and it is coming out this year. And the trailer kind of does confirm that in a way, because it does look like a smaller tier film. I don't know what the exact budget for this movie is. I'm gonna guess at 20 million or something. I'm gonna have this up here and see how close I am to the budget, if the budget is publicly known yet, but because it does look like it's a small movie, that there's not a lot of expenses or stuff going on, which nothing wrong with that. I'm just pointing it out. It doesn't It doesn't feel like a big Hollywood studio-produced film, which is probably a good thing, because even though Universal, Blumhouse, they're a massive studio, the fact that it's being treated like a smaller film stays true to sort of indie nature of the games and where the games came from. So it's true not just visually, but in aesthetic and being faithful to that adaptation as well. So yeah, they're keeping sort of independent kind of feel to it. Like you wouldn't, that looks like it would be more made by an independent studio. And that's probably because Scott Cawthon's involved. I have a feeling Scott Cawthon probably had a lot to do with the vibe and tone there. God, I didn't even talk about the animatronics. They look great. I mean, they're literally the animatronics from the games. It's so weird because we saw the animatronics back in 2015 from Warner Brothers version of it. We saw like Springtrap's jaw and stuff, and those looked more, I suppose, grittier than this. This kind of sticks more to the fact that they're supposed to be kids' entertainment gone horribly wrong. So it is sticking to that kind of side of things. All in all, pretty good. I wish it was longer. I hate when teaser trailers, I'm reluctant to even call it a trailer, are that short, but it got the vibe across. I think anyone who might have had doubts about this movie's unfaithfulness would be assuaged. And that's me. You know, I didn't know what to expect from this. I knew it would be faithful, and even the plot synopsis sounded faithful, but it's hard to picture that and then visually as well without actually seeing anything from the film. So it's good to have seen that. And when the poster came out, I mentioned that it looked fan-made because it looked like any sort of generic Fnaf poster. I don't like the poster, I will say, because the smaller fonts, the green with the release date and the "Can You Survive" is way too big. The font and stuff could have been edited a bit, but no, this looks like it'll be worth it for the Fnaf fans. Scott Cawthon really wanted to make the correct movie, and it seems like he will. The only thing I will say, this movie was supposedly going to be R-rated with lots of gore and violence, and as I feared, it does kind of look a bit more PG, and I suppose that's kind of what I meant by the sort of independent feel to it. It does look more PG-13. I expect it to be PG-13. A lot of Fnaf fans are children, so they'd be cutting off a huge chunk of the audience if they made this R-rated, although I wish they would, because there's one scene in particular that everybody wants to see in this movie. And if you're a Fnaf fan, you know what I'm referring to. It's obviously William Afton getting spring-locked. I don't think it'll be in this movie because this is going to be a trilogy. I made a video like 5 years ago talking about when Scott said he wanted to do a trilogy, but it was confirmed recently that they are doing a trilogy. So it'll be very interesting. This is based on the first game, but I have heard there are some of the characters from the second one. I think the puppet is in. It wasn't, as far as I could tell, the puppet wasn't in there, but there's some crossover, which makes sense because those characters did exist at the same time, if you know the Fnaf timeline. This will be interesting. I was always planning to go see this, but I wasn't sure what to expect because I compared it to the Slender Man movie. I like the Slender Man movie, but it was supposed to be R-rated and then they dumbed it down to PG-13. Mind you, there's a big difference in the situation as to why that happens versus why this might get dumbed down. But that being said, it looks like it should be a fun time. I wouldn't say scary, just because FNAF has never really been scary. So I'm not really expecting to be like jump scared and freaked out or anything. But if done right, it should have some moments of like tension and stuff. It's just, yeah, it's so strange. I watched a teaser for the FNAF movie. How utterly bizarre. But yeah, I think that's about all I can say on it for the moment. It has a lot to live up to in terms of like 8 years of hype, but it seems like it might do that. They kept it small. They didn't go crazy with it. those earlier scripts, they really try to overcomplicate what FNAF is, whereas this one, they just made it simple. They didn't think about it too much. They just said, this is what Five Nights at Freddy's is as a game. We're doing that. We're not doing anything crazy with it. So, and the funny thing is, for Five Nights at Freddy's as well, this is going to be one of the more simpler experiences we've had in a long time, because FNAF is like one of the most complicated franchises out there to an absurd degree. So to be able to watch something that's going to be simple, self-contained, you don't need to read 65 million books to understand it, to something that's going to be self-contained, all the information is going to be there, that's going to be heaven, especially coming off a security breach. I am, in case anyone doesn't know, although if you're watching my channel, you probably do know, I pretty much am, I have a love-hate relationship with this franchise. Some days I think it's great and it's genius, other days I think it's the worst thing ever. It really depends on my mood, because it has an interesting story, it also has a terrible story. So it's kind of all over the place, and the games themselves are very mixed quality sometimes. But no, I do like, I made a load of videos in 2020 about Security Breach leading up to release, so I do have some level of interest in this franchise, and I know way too much about it at this point. But anyways, that's, as I said, that's all my thoughts, and let me know yours down in the comment section below. And with that all said, thank you all for watching, and please subscribe. Novus Corvis out.